What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I want to give you guys some quick Atlanta Falcons news. And then I also want to talk about the latest free agent signings for our Atlanta Falcons. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll know when your boy's done Atlanta Falcons content. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for continuing to tune into the channel, continuing to support your boy. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, I also just want to apologize. Your boy's been under the weather the last couple days. Pretty much everybody in my household was sick. So I thank you guys for continuing to hold your boy down, continuing to stay loyal to the channel. I really appreciate all the kind words and the comments that were placed on the channel. I really appreciate you guys. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So first off, in Atlanta Falcons news, if you haven't already heard, the Atlanta Falcons did release running back Ito Smith today, the former Atlanta Falcons running back. I was very surprised with the release of Ito Smith, just for the mere fact that Arthur Smith basically stated when he came in that Ito Smith would be a guy that would be used in the rotation of the stable of running backs that we would have on the roster. And being that we've waited so long to cut Ito Smith, this did come as a surprise to me. Personally, I never was the biggest Ito Smith fan playing with our Atlanta Falcons because I feel like we didn't use Ito Smith in the correct ways. I feel like Ito Smith was a guy that should have been used mainly in the passing game on third downs with swing passes, and he should have been used on outside run plays. But I feel like Dirk Cutter and the coaching staff that we had here in Atlanta prior to this new regime didn't use Ito Smith in the correct ways. They were using him in blocking scenarios on third down. If you remember against the LA Rams a couple years ago, he pretty much just got ran over and concussed. Could have really ended his career by one of the linebackers that played for the LA Rams. Then if you remember also during the last couple of seasons, he's taken a lot of big hits. He's had a couple neck injuries and things of that nature. So I really feel like Ito Smith was never a guy that was used in the correct fashion when he was here with the Falcons. I do believe that Ito Smith is a guy that should have been used kind of like a James White that plays for the New England Patriots, a Giovanni Bernard that now plays with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a former Cincinnati Bengal. I feel like Ito Smith should have been a guy that we used, like I said, on outside runs, tosses, and on plays where we could get him like a quick screen or a quick pass outside, or maybe even using him like in the slot. But I really think that Ito Smith didn't have the career that a lot of people thought he was going to have with our Atlanta Falcons. I do wish him nothing but the best and happy trails for whatever team he signs with. But I do think that the Falcons kind of did him a disservice over his 3 or 4 year career here with our Atlanta Falcons. I don't believe we used him in the way that we should have. I don't believe he reached his capacity. But at this point, like I said, I wish him nothing but the best with signing with whoever he signs with. In other news, our Atlanta Falcons signed today Cordero Patterson. He's a return man, a kickoff return man, a specialist, and a Swiss Army knife on the offensive side of the ball. He's a guy that plays wide receiver, and he can play a little bit of the running back position. To me, this is a great signing by our Atlanta Falcons. Cordero Patterson goes about 6'2", 240 pounds. He's a very explosive return man, arguably the best kickoff returner in the NFL. Definitely a top 3 returner in the game. He's a guy that when you kick the ball off to him, he's always a threat to take it to the house. If you go look at this guy's highlights when he was with the Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears, he's had multiple 109-yard returns for touchdowns where he was returning it outside of his own end zone. So this guy's very dangerous, has made numerous Pro Bowls, due to his explosiveness, as a return man. He also last year, or for the last couple years with the Chicago Bears, they used him as a H-back or as a running back, as their backup running back. And he's a guy that can do a lot of different things. Originally coming into the league out of the University of Tennessee, he was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. He was there for about 4 or 5 years, and they drafted him mainly as a receiver. And as he continued to play in the league, teams just continued to use him in multiple ways. When he left the Vikings, he played, I believe, for the Raiders for a year, and he also played with the New England Patriots, where he won a Super Bowl with them. And then he went on to play with the Chicago Bears. So he has a ton of experience. He's a great guy in the locker room, from what I hear. He's one of those guys that is a very talented player. A guy, like I said, you can use kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You can use this guy like on jet sweeps, screen passes, using them out of the backfield just as like a legitimate running back. But I'm very impressed with this signing. We brought him in on a 1-year deal for about $3 million. So I definitely think this is a great pickup for our Atlanta Falcons. Also in Atlanta Falcons news, the Falcons also signed Deron Harmon. He's a guy that plays the safety position, and he can play a little bit of defensive back as well. He's a former New England Patriot, and last season he played 1 year with the Detroit Lions. But Deron Harmon is a guy that played at Rutgers University when he was drafted by the New England Patriots. I believe he was drafted in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a great safety. He's a guy that is always in the right place at the right time. If you go look at this guy's stats, he's had every single year that he's played in the league, he's had at least 1 interception, but he's had multiple seasons when he played with the New England Patriots where he's had 4 interceptions or more. So he's definitely a guy that, like I said, is always in the right place at the right time. A guy that's a quality veteran safety. He actually won 3 Super Bowls in his career. So he's a guy that's going to bring great experience to our defensive backfield. I believe that him and Eric Harris, the other safety that we signed from the Las Vegas Raiders, I do believe those guys could possibly be the bridge guys or possibly be the starters for this upcoming season. I do believe both of these guys are better than the former safeties we had in Keanu Neal as far as coverage wise. I do believe that Keanu Neal was a better tackler than the guys that we brought in. He was more physical than the guys that we brought in Eric Harris and Deron Harmon. But I think that both of these guys are better coverage guys, and they're more versatile than a guy like Ricardo Allen and a guy like Keanu Neal. So I really like these signings of these veteran safeties that we brought in. Like I said, Deron Harmon is also a guy that can play the cornerback role as well, because originally when he was drafted by the New England Patriots, he was a cornerback and they converted him to safety. But he has good size. He's about 6'1", 205 pounds. So both of these guys are bigger than the former safeties we had in Ricardo Allen, because I believe that Eric Harris is about 6'2", 220 pounds. So I really like the signing of Deron Harmon coming in, especially because he has that Super Bowl experience. He has that experience coming from a team like the New England Patriots that runs a multifaceted defense. As you know, Dean Pease did coach in New England for about 3 seasons as well. So he should already kind of know Dean Pease's system, because he ran a similar system when he was in New England. I don't believe Dean Pease actually coached Deron Harmon, because he was there prior to Deron Harmon being drafted. But I definitely think that this is also a great signing for our Atlanta Falcons, a solid signing. I do believe the Falcons still will sign or draft, safety. But I do like these 2 guys, these veteran guys that they're bringing in, guys that have experience, guys that are playmakers, and guys that are smart, cerebral football players. I really think that we're bringing in guys that can come in, learn the scheme, are very smart, and guys that'll be able to help the young secondary that we have, because we have a lot of guys on this secondary unit that's very young. Guys like Kendall Sheffield, who's coming into his 3rd year. Guys like Isaiah Oliver, who I believe is in his 3rd year as well. AJ Terrell, who's going to be in his 2nd season. So having these veteran safeties is going to really help these young cornerbacks and defensive backs and even young safeties that we have, like Jalen Hawkins, who's a guy that we brought in last year, who's coming into his second season. I think he's going to be able to learn a lot in the film room from these guys in the secondary. But with that being said, I also want to mention the Falcons also signed in free agency Ryan Becker. And I believe Ryan Becker is actually a tight end. He was brought over by the Arizona Cardinals. He goes about 6'5", 250 pounds. I do believe that this guy will be more of a rotational piece. I don't know a whole lot about Ryan Becker. I do know that last year, I believe, was his first year in the league. He was an undrafted free agent that the Arizona Cardinals signed. But I really believe that he's going to be a rotational guy, a guy that's going to be used mainly as a blocking tight end. I don't see him having a huge role with our Atlanta Falcons. Maybe he'll be a guy that plays some special teams, and maybe a guy that can learn from the guy we brought in from Buffalo. I can't think of his name right now, but the tight end that we brought in from the Buffalo Bills, who's also a blocking tight end, who signed a 1-year deal with us. I believe this is a guy that can learn under his wing, because he's a similar type player, a guy that's mainly a blocking tight end, and Ryan Becker. So, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about Ryan Becker, but I believe he's just going to be a rotational guy. I don't believe that this means that we won't draft a guy like Kyle Pitts, because we have to fill out this roster. So I believe all of these guys we're seeing on these 1-year deals, they're going to have to come in and compete in training camp. And if we have a preseason, they're going to have to come in and compete in these games in the preseason. And some of these guys may not end up making the final roster, but we did bring in a guy like Ryan Becker. So I'm very interested to see what he brings to the table. As you know, we now have a really large staff when it comes to tight end with Hayden Hurst, the guy we brought over from Buffalo. I can't think of his name. And then Ryan Becker, and then also Jaden Graham. So it's going to be a huge competition in that tight ends room. It's going to be very interesting to see these guys compete for positions for this team. But with that being said, this has been your boy Jew. You guys let me know what you think about the video. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Definitely hit that like button for your boy. If you enjoy my content, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll have a lot more content coming for you guys. But with that being said, peace and love. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.